Does military sleep systems still have a place? Let's talk about it and let me show you what I got. Johnny Warrior 4 Tactical Outdoor International. Today we're going to talk about the military sleep system. And there's, been a growing debate in recent years, I'd say over the last 5 years, if there's still really a place for the military E-Swiss or extreme cold weather sleep system or not in bushcraft or prepping or survivability. A lot of this is based with new sleep technologies that are coming out, allowing for more compact sleep systems, lighter, and maybe even to a certain degree more cost effective. But I still use one, and I want to show you how I use the setup and exactly why I still think there's a place for it. So let me show you what I got. Alright guys, this is my prepping or my long-term, if I'm going to use a base camp or something like that. This is also that goes out on my bug out bag. This is the sleep system that I use. I have a modified sleep system that I will show you and tell you the difference. Well, I won't show it to you, but I'll tell you what I do use out of this in my modified for bushcraft. But this one, if I have a base camp, and that is uncompressed, so the compression bag is uncompressed because I'm about to dig into it. And then that is a really cheap inflatable, self-inflatable air mattress that I got from Walmart. So what I do is I use this sleep system in conjunction with a hammock. Alright, now I'm going to set this up and show you. This is one of those Eno doubles. Alright, this is not the one that I use out in the field. The one that I use in the field actually has a bug net. Here in the Philippines I have to have a bug net, and I also have one of those scalloped Pro rain flies that I put over that, and that's my base camp. That's what I'll set up for the long term, and then I'll do my day hikes and my scout hikes out from that. The one that I use if I'm just doing a 72-hour, I will use the Scallop Pro fly, but I have a ground setup that I will show you that I like to use because you could just use sticks or cane or whatever. Here we have a lot of bamboo. The higher elevations up at Baguio you have pine, so there's a lot of stuff that you can use on that as well. But let me show you quickly how I set this up and the different parts of the system that I own and use for my main sleep system, and explain why I still think there is a significant reason to own one. Alright guys, so this is how I set it up. If you look right under here, I put the mat down, and what that does is it keeps the hammock spread for me, so it's easier for me to get in and out. Again, I usually have a bug net that's connected up to a main wire on this. But that also, even here in tropical climates, it can get cold at night, and it gives me a little bit of thermal protection underneath so that I don't get too cold. Up in Baguio, in the mountain areas, you can actually have in January and February a 12°C change between afternoon and about 0100, 0200 in the morning. You can have a drastic change in temperature, so something like this is good, and this would be a sleep system I actually use there. Now if you look, you have three parts of the sleep system, right? You have an internal bag, which is a thinner bag. This is the outer bag, which is a thicker bag, and then you have a Gore-tex cover or bivy. Alright, now this is the part that I use in my other sleep system. I have a very, very thin, actually I have a sheet, and in a very, very thin, I also carry what's called a Ranger roll. Let me show you that real quick. Alright, this is my Ranger roll. This is a whoopee, or what's called a poncho liner, nomenclature in the military, that I used while I was in the military. So if you notice in the middle, there is a zipper down the middle right here. See that? This is a liner that would go underneath the poncho to use as a insulating thermal enhancer. And this zipper allows you to put it into cold, wet air environments, and you can pop your head through there and actually wear it as a poncho liner. See, that's pretty cool, right? Well, the second thing that I have as a modification has to do with these zippers. See these cool zippers that run along? And what they do is when they zip together, right, and I put it up like this, there is no zipper on this end. It makes for a fart sack. That's what we passionately call them in the military. Alright, so I can zip it up and I can slip in here, right, and use it as a warm weather sleeping bag. Now, this Ranger roll allows me to enhance my sleep system in another layer in extreme cold weather, or I can use it and put my sleep system in the hammock like you saw, and then use that as padding and a thermal incline on top of the self-inflatable mattress that's in there. And this allows me to have a little bit of thermal insulation in warm weather, temperate evenings. What the Ranger roll does, it allows me to have another layer where I can even use it in this system or in my other system. And that's generally my primary here, because a lot of what I do is in the temperate months and not in the cold months, and there's only a few areas you got to really worry about the cold. I still use the bivy though, especially on the ground, because it's waterproof. You know, I can slip into it when it's raining, even with the cover. I can use it as a ground mat to sleep directly on in a one-man camp setup. It's really good, it's really lightweight. Now these sleep systems allow you to use them in multi-levels, multi-climates. I wouldn't say, even though it says extreme cold, if you add the whoopee or Ranger roll or poncho liner, what I was telling you, what I showed you before, you can get there below zero. All right, both in Fahrenheit and especially in Celsius. But you know, I know that there's better technology out there. I know that there's more compact systems. But when I'm using only one, this like internal one, the lighter one, the weight on this is nil, and it compresses very small. It's this one, the outer one. This one is the heavier and the bulky part of the system. The Gore-tex liner, if you guys don't own one, you can buy these individually, and these are worth the value. They're probably the more expensive part of the system, but they, with the button and the clamshell top and everything like that, you can get a lot of use out of it for solo camping, or you know, for low profile camping or bug out scenarios. When you have the bivy in your system, you don't even need to really put a tent up. You can use a small piece of flexible willow or something to keep the open, the top open. The clamshell, if you look, it has a Velcro fixture that shuts it so you don't have to zip it. You can zip it and then draw the strings close and tight, and then use the Velcro to shut. The only problem is, you know, moisture builds up in there and everything. So I like to take a small flexible stick, put it over, keep it up and open, and it's fine. The military head netting fits perfect in there, keeps the bugs out, and when it's raining, it's great. You know, it is really good for wet weather, works real well. I still use my thermal mats. I got back issues, so I have to use the thermal mats to make sure my backs don't get cold. But I can make the ground comfortable enough for me to sleep on. So, you know, there's a debate regarding whether they're worth the value. They're still sitting about $100. You can get them down to about $75, depending upon condition. Brand new ones in the bag are about $139 is what they're called US. But I still believe, honestly, that there's a value to them and that you're getting a higher end sleep system, multi-use sleep system in one, instead of having to spend 40 bucks on a, you know, temperate, and then, you know, another $90 on an extreme cold weather. And on top of that, you're not going to get the same wet weather protection as you're going to get with that Gore-tex bivy. And again, you know, when you're in the bush, and if you're in a bug out scenario where you're trying to keep a low imprint, a low profile, it being camouflaged, right, irregardless of the pattern, those earth tones are going to be able to allow you to slip it into areas to where you're going to have a low footprint, and you're not going to have line of sight with where tents have that peak. Even dome tents, they're very recognizable. Something like this is so low profile, half the time the grass is higher than the imprint, and that really helps for cover and concealment. I think that irregardless, whether you're the outdoorsman, avid outdoorsman, camper, hiker, prepper, whatever, the E-Swiss is definitely something to consider. It's worth the value, and you know, I know that at Walmart you're going to be able to get the $40 cold weather systems that are probably lighter and be able to throw in your pack. I'm just simply stating that with the multi-use of them, right, you can, you know, if you're living in Arizona and you're going to be bugging into the desert, you're still going to need something other than the light. You know, Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, those summers, even in the winter, or summers in the night, they still, you know, 10-degree difference. It'll all be dropped. So when you're thermal regulating, trying to keep your thermal regulation in play, those kind of drops on top of exhaustion and dehydration can play havoc on you and really make life miserable. So I think that investing in a smart, intelligent sleep system, taking the time to really investigate it, is kind of key and essential to long-term survivability and comfort in the outdoors. All right, guys, I hope you got a little something out of this. Again, you know, like it, leave comments, tell us what you think. If there's any other topics that you want, let me know. Johnny Warrior for Tactical Outdoor International. Till next time, peace.